with me is our Faxad Kabuto, our technician. How are you, my brother?
Doing good, doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Long time.
Yeah, it's been a very long time.
But we thank God.
Yeah, we thank God.
How's COVID taking you?
Taking me very well. I'm alive. I'm alive. There's many people that have died from COVID, or there are many people that have died from COVID, but I'm still alive. So.
Just to begin with, 2 days ago, I had one of the scribe from Nyamira. He was talking about how they are taking COVID there, and the measures that the government is taking. I don't know. We may not like it the way it is here, but as he said, we thank God. Wakati mwingine unaanza safari ukiwa na watu wengi, then in the middle unapata wengine wanakuambia twende safari, wanakupa mtisha, yes. They encourage you, let's go. Lakini ukifika njiani unapata uko peke yako. Have you ever realized anything like that in life?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't realized it in life. It's something that you see on a daily basis. I mean, you have as a teenager, have those friends that give you the psych. Let's do this. We can do it anytime, any day. We can do this. You start together.
And then
and then whenever you almost to the finish line, people fall back. It's something that you see on a daily basis, not only as a teenager, businessmen, and also for people that just, start planning together. On something.
Do you think it's fair? Is it a fair game?
I mean, everything is a fair game so long as it's, so long as you start it together, or as long as you made a deal. For many people, it's something about a deal.
Before we continue talking about the safari, because it's the edition we're talking about, why do you think people do that? For instance, as teenagers, mnaanza kufanya kitu and all of a sudden they pull back.
I mean, some people, it's just that they don't have the strength to finish. And some people, they just, they just wanted to give you the energy. They just wanted to give you the psych.
Oh, and the side of adults, something that happens like that. Most of adults, it's not that they lack their strength. They have the strength, but others, they don't want you to succeed so that you can be seen. So they pull back so that you can hit the end of the road. And then they say, we were the big man in this game. So they leave you to fail. So even in the spiritual journey, there are also people that you begin together.
Yes.
But in the midst of the game, you find that they are nowhere. So these things happen more often. Na wakati mwingi tunapozungumzia safari ni ya kwenda mbinguni. Unapoanza safari asubuhi ya leo, unaanza now, there are so many people that you began together, but whenever they see that you are about to succeed, they pull back.
Yes.
So it's not a good thing, but the Bible tells us that whenever we begin together, it is good to finish together. It is good to finish together. And do you usually in your schools, do you pray before you begin anything?
I mean, it depends on the school you go to.
Oh.
It depends on schools that you go to, because there's some schools that have strictly Christian beliefs. It doesn't matter what Christian belief it is. It doesn't matter if or Christian entity it is. It doesn't matter if it's SDA.
So it depends with the school.
It depends with the school.
There are some people who take it for granted that they can just find a moment to think or to even say a word of prayer in the morning. So maybe you can give an encouragement to them, because you have said it depends with the school that you go to.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, if you're going to a really good school, a Christian school, you should be really thankful because you're actually getting to thank God. For some schools, it's an offense to even pray or to thank God. So something that you should not take granted for, or something like.
Yeah, I remember a few years back, I remember there were bus drivers who were trying to pray, and then there was someone that you cannot pray even on a school free phone. I know the system that they use. When it reached, let me say around 3, they said it's a prayer hour. So they gathered together and they are on a conference call. Then they start praying. Then there was someone that you cannot pray. They were told that this is a non-denominational organization. So some of our viewers were viewing from all parts of the world. may take it for granted that they have this chance, even whenever they begin the day, their journey of the, let's talk about studies, that they are able to pray.
I mean, it's everything you can't take everything for granted. It's not something that is there for you to do. It's something that everything you do, you have to thank God. I mean, some of us don't do it all the time. Not saying that I do it all the time. And I mean, I can't tell the viewer that watches me that I do it all the time before I start everything. And I just simply say, thank you, God. But it's something that we have to start doing all the time, because we're in times where today you'll be alive. Tomorrow you don't know if you're going to be there or if you're going to be in a hospital bed.
Do you do track?
Yes.
Yeah, track, for those of us who don't know, how will we say it in our language? Is it running?
Yes, running.
You know, wakati unasema track huko nyumbani unafikiria, oh, is he a truck driver? No. We're talking about running. So you do run, you do track. Do you people always begin with a prayer before you do that?
No, for us, yes. There's moments where before...
As a group or as an individual?
As a group, and also as an individual, because you know there's some races that are really tough. Some races that you have, if you know you're going to run this event, and you know track is about points.
Oh, okay.
Track is about points.
And how do you get points?
By every event you run. If you place from first to third, you get a lot of points. If you place from fourth to going down, you're not really getting a lot of points. If you place, let's say there's 8 lanes. If you get 8th place and there's 8 runners, that means you only got 1 point.
Are there moments that you have ever done track without praying?
Yes.
And how was
honestly,
the result?
Some of them have cost. Some of them have cost, because there's some events. For example, myself, I run the 400, the 800, and also the 4x4.
Wow.
The 800,
tough races.
The 800 is one of the toughest races you run. First lap, of course, you're not sprinting, but
you're good.
You're intermediate. The second lap is where you know I have to aim for this guy in front of me. I have to start curving in and go into the number 1 lane. I have to start whenever I get to the last 200 meters. I have to sprint. If I don't sprint, I'll end up 8th place.
Wow.
So it's a matter of thought, and it's a matter of brain. If you don't think, or if you don't put your mind into something, you're not going to be able to do it. Same way with prayer. Same way with thanking God. If you don't put your mind into thanking God, or if you don't put your mind into saying, today I'm going to pray.
Do you also play soccer?
I don't play soccer myself. I mean, playing casually, yes, I can play soccer, but for a team, I don't play.
Yeah, most let me say, most of our viewers, most Kenyans, they like soccer.
Yes, they do. I mean, I like watching soccer.
UEFA champion, such like things.
Yes.
You know, somebody will tell you, oh, I'm Man U damn, I'm Arsenal damn. They'll talk about that. But back to our topic, you know, most of the time when you see those people, before they even begin playing their game, they gather together, they congregate. They pray, they sing their national anthem, and then they begin.
Yes.
And I had a chance to speak to a few of them, and they told me that any moment that they don't pray, they don't begin with a prayer, it costs them their game.
Yes, it really does.
So it is very necessary that people know that, you know, it is essential to begin anything with the word of prayer, because you have testified that, you know, that time you do track and then you don't pray, that time energy may go anytime. And it's something that it's for everybody, especially long distance runners, because you know they have the toughest race. You're running 8 laps around the track. I mean, I can't do that personally. Well, I'll say I can't do it, but I might be able to do it. But it's one of the toughest things. And if you don't pray at any point during those 8 laps, you might just randomly die out. Now that this country is funny in its own way, and recently you had exams. You're in a class and they're about to begin the exam. Do you say, oh, let's pray? For exams,
now I will say this, for exams, I definitely do pray, because I mean, many Kenyans that come to America that I've been in class with say that exams here are the easiest exams because they're all multiple choice. But for me, I think these are the hardest exams you ever take.
Yeah.
And so for exams, definitely have to pray. And I know there's those people just like me that don't study the night before. And then whenever we come to class is the moment where we're like, God, help me, because I didn't study. I don't know what I'm doing.
Help me to harvest where I never planted.
Yes.
So you got to read.
Yeah, so it's something that you definitely got to do before you take your exams or whatever you're doing, any kind of test.
So what we are entirely saying is that before you begin anything, you ought to pray. And before you begin any journey,
With
any
anybody.
journey, yeah, you must pray. You know, there are also some let me say dogmas. A dogma is an old belief whereby most people are superstitious, meaning that, you know, whenever you are going on a journey, you begin. There are some small animals people fear here, like a coyote, or how do you call them?
A coyote.
Oh yeah, then those things I know people fear them so much.
Yes, I mean some of the scariest animals here.
Why do they fear them? Do they bite or?
I mean, of course.
Oh, they do?
These are animals of the wild. I mean, these animals are notorious. It's very bad.
I was driving some other time and I hit a skunk.
Skunks are not that bad. I mean,
but the smell.
It's just a really horrible scent that comes out of them. But other than that, skunks are just like any rabbit that you might find anywhere.
So my point is that, you know, there are people, whenever they begin a journey, and then let's say like a coyote passes in front of them, they go back and say, this is bad omen. Maybe something bad is going to happen. Do they have those beliefs here too?
I mean, I can't speak for anybody else because I don't have those beliefs.
No, but you have interacted with some of them, most of them. Have you ever heard them that, you know, they have such beliefs that whenever something crosses ahead of them, cuts them their way, they go back?
I mean, for some people, well, yes, actually, yes. For some people, I mean, whenever something bad happens, or whenever something, okay, for example, let's put it this way. This is a car, you crash into another car.
Oh.
For some people, they call it premeditated.
Oh.
Something that was planned ahead, right? So it's for some people, yes, and for some people, no. Now, for me, no.
Well,
because, I mean, how did you know it was going to happen, right? It's not something that's premeditated because you never knew it was going to happen.
Let's go back to your race, the track. Like, how many people do you usually begin with when you are running?
I mean, the track is usually filled. It depends.
Like, let's say 20, 50 people?
No. On a track...
Let's talk about 400, 4x4.
Okay, on a 4x4, there's there could be, because the track has eight lanes. There could be 8 different teams, and there's 4 different people behind the 8 teams, right? Okay, so let's say my team. There's one of me starting the race, but there's
counts.
Yeah, every split counts. One person goes the first time. First leg is usually the best leg, or second to the best leg.
You put all your energy.
You put all your energy to try and become the first. To try
Even
and
if you fall down, you got to get up.
Get us to the first, second, or third. And then the second leg, yule mtu mwenye yani, he can run the 400, but he's not to the top.
Oh yeah,
he hasn't.
He's not the best.
He's not the best, but he's also really good at what he does. The third runner, he tries to now catch us up.
Maybe he might be among the best, so that at least he can.
Yes, he tries to keep us where we were.
He can compensate the lost time and such.
Yeah, in case we lost some time in the second person, we gain that time back with number 3. And then the fourth person is the best person. They run the whole track with all their strength.
Wow. Safari. Mpendwa msikilizaji na mtazamaji, we are still on our journey Anza na Bwana, and we are talking about safari. And I don't know if you are getting it, that everyone has a part to play. And when it comes to your part, you must do it honestly and honestly. You must have that zeal to work it out, because ukizembea kidogo and then you cost your team, which is really bad. Even in a spiritual journey, there are those that you begin the race, unasema wengi wetu tulianzia kule, wengine Nyabururu, wengine Nyaguta, wengine Nyanchwa. There are those that you pass down the baton. If they were lazy and if they gave up, we could not have this gospel.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Then we got to pass on this baton to the future generation, because this is the faith that we got to keep. Kwa hivyo unapoenda kanisani, unapoenda mahali popote ambapo, in anything that you do, think about the future.